There is an interesting phenomenon going on in the world today. As our major population base grows older, it also grows more active. This desire of our older population to remain active and energetic has, in turn, led researchers to seek answers to the physical problems that often restrict activity in older adults. Recent research has revealed exciting news regarding the connection between Noni and some of the traditional medical treatments now favored for combating arthritis.
One of the number one testimonials that people give for Noni is the treatment of pain. A lot of people seem to have pain relief from drinking this juice, and that mirrors the ethnobotanical studies which describe the use of this fruit for the treatment of pain in geographically separate areas throughout the world. In fact, one area it's called the painkiller bush or painkiller tree. So for a while we've wondered what it is in the fruit juice that helps to alleviate pain.
Arthritis, while far more common in older adults, also affects people of all ages. There are 38 million Americans who suffer from arthritis, and most of those are women. The pain and swelling of the joints can be unbearable at times and can significantly restrict the physical activity that everyone longs for. Arthritis is not the only cause for reduced or restricted activity. Simple swelling in the joints experienced by anyone of any age that engages in physical exercise can cause pain. This pain, of course, makes it difficult to continue activities that people love.
Swelling of the joints can be a real problem. It causes pain in limited activity, and it causes stiffness. In a very common form of arthritis, osteoarthritis, this is a real problem because losing weight and exercise will help alleviate the problem. Now, if you have pain and inflammation, you're less likely to exercise, and thus you're less likely to improve your condition. That's where you need something to reduce the inflammation, reduce the pain, to allow you to exercise, thus improve your circumstance.
In an effort to combat the painful swelling of joints brought on by various forms of arthritis, as well as the swelling caused by simple physical exercise, doctors and researchers have for decades sought out drugs that act as anti-inflammatories. The most common of these are called NSAIDs, which stands for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. NSAIDs are found on the shelves of every pharmacy, supermarket, and convenience store in the world. Their most common form is aspirin and ibuprofen. These over-the-counter anti-inflammatory drugs have been used for years to combat painful swelling of the joints. But there's always been a problem.
With these other drugs, such as aspirin and some of these newer drugs, you don't really have to take a whole lot to begin to see some kind of adverse effect or some sign of toxicity. Some of the side effects that you see with something like aspirin is you can get a rash. Allergies to aspirin are not too uncommon.
The long-term aspirin use has been, very famous. The side effect, which is there's probably 3% of the population, they cannot tolerate aspirin.
People that often take aspirin may develop ulcers. A woman that is pregnant towards the end of pregnancy, her doctor or midwife will tell her do not take NSAIDs because it will interfere with the proper development of the body getting ready for labor.
The reasons behind these destructive side effects are the subject of new findings in the medical field. NSAIDs work because they inhibit the body's production of substances called COX enzymes. COX enzymes cause the swelling in joints that bring so much pain. For years, scientists thought there was really only one form of COX enzymes.
We decided to look at the COX enzymes because these are the ones that are associated with pain and inflammation. COX-1 enzymes are enzymes that function all the time in your body. The prostaglandins they produce are necessary to keep your stomach lining intact. They're necessary for other various healthy functions of the body. However, the COX-2 enzyme is something that lies dormant. It doesn't function all the time. An injury or an infection is required to cause it to start working and producing prostaglandins. Now, these prostaglandins are the ones that are the problem, that cause the inflammation, that cause the pain.
COX-1 enzymes are actually very good for the body. Instead of producing painful swelling, these enzymes are helpful in protecting the lining of the stomach. COX-2 enzymes are the bad enzymes. They are responsible for the swelling and associated pain in the joints of arthritis sufferers and other active people. Knowing this, the race was on in the research world for drugs that would inhibit COX-2 enzymes without affecting COX-1.
The holy grail, so to speak, of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory type drugs is to find one that will selectively inhibit the activity of the COX-2 enzyme. You want to get the COX-2 enzyme to quit working in cases of inflammation and pain. You want to leave the COX-1 enzyme alone. You want to let it do its job. That way you will stay healthy, you won't have problems.
Major pharmaceutical companies around the world ran hurried programs to come up with COX-2 inhibitors. They spent thousands of hours and literally millions of dollars. But nobody thought...
What we found out is that Noni will inhibit the COX-2 enzyme, whereas it will not have as great effect on the COX-1 enzyme. It selectively inhibits COX-2. These leading prescription COX-2 inhibitors, as well as the other NSAIDs, the Noni juice, have all been subjected to preclinical safety studies. Noni is thousands of times safer than these other drugs, even these selective COX-2 inhibiting drugs.
Bottom line, we have more choices now than we've ever had before. In the old days, we only had aspirin, ibuprofen to help with inflammation, pain, and fever reduction.
Noni juice is a selective COX-2 inhibitor. It's naturally occurring in nature. It has no known side effects.
And that's what the tests are showing, that it is a powerful, natural COX-2 inhibitor without the warning labels, without the concerns. Millions of people have taken this product for years.
With all the benefits that are already known about Noni juice, does it really surprise anyone that this gift also brings the blessings of relief associated with COX-2 inhibitors? Science will always stride forward, and with every step, the phenomenal benefits of Noni juice will be revealed to the world.